terms, well, not in terms. I mean, he said that some of the members of Congress were told that there will be martial law in America if we voted no. This means that they threaten martial law. That means police officers killing people. It means people having to kill our military as well. It means a total boo boo bang bang bang, people dying and bloodshed. All because people wanted to vote no to give them money to peer share corporations. This is terrorism and treason. Anyways, the third thing says the federal hate crimes legislation. Oh yeah, I'm probably going to get targeted with this. Anyways, it says, which in reality would criminalize thought crimes, has cleared the House and now faces the Senate as S-909. The Matthew Shepard Hate Crimes Prevention Act, officially the Local Law Enforcement Hate Crimes Prevention Act. S-909 is a direct violation of the First Amendment. It allows the federal government to prosecute people involved in hate speech transmitted over television, radio, and the internet. The House version of the bill states, whoever transmits in interstate of foreign commerce, radio, TV, internet, any communication with the intent to coerce, intimidate, harass, or cause substantial emotional distress to a person using electronic means to support severe, repeated, and hostile behavior shall be fined under the title or imprisoned not more than 2 years, or both. It's under HR, I think it says HR 1966, Section 3, Section 881A. I mean 881A, I can't listen. In other words, if a talk show host engages in hostile speech against a person or persons mentioned above, mentioned federally protected group, that talk show host will face federal prosecution, the prospect of a 2-year prison term. So what I'm saying now, I could be arrested under this hate crime law because I simply called Al Gore a traitor. Because I'm calling some of these people in our federal government traitors. I mean, I do admit there's good people in our government, but these bad people are getting the majority support in our Congress and Senate, while the minority of good congressmen and good senators are getting nowhere. And good congresswomen too. Let's see. Also, the Megan Myers Cyberbullying Prevention Act would similarly criminalize free speech on the internet if it can be deemed in any way to have been harmful to the individual. This represents the end of political blogging and free speech on the World Wide Web. If both bills are not opposed and thrown out, then the First Amendment will become nothing more than a relic of the bygone age. This will make Patrick Henry nothing but an old man with dreams. Well, he is the very reason why we have a free country. Red Alert 4, the Senate Bill S-787, otherwise known as the Clean Water Restoration Act, would replace language in the Regulatory Act currently using navigable waters with waters of the United States. What this means that if the government would essentially be able, the government would essentially be able to regulate everything from standing water and floodplains to creeks that run behind businesses and residences, according to an environmental leader report. This represents a complete takeover of private land and waterways by the federal government, a total assault on private property rights, and a complete federalization of America's land and water. This will also violate states' rights. This means that states cannot oppose this, couldn't they? Unless they go for their 10th Amendment, this will affect states as well. In a letter to the Senate Environment and Public Works Chair Barbara Boxer and Ranking Member James Inhofe, the American Farm Bureau Federation said that the proposed law would extend to all water, anywhere from farm ponds to stormwater retention basins, to roadside ditches, to desert washes, to streets and gutters, even to puddles of rainwater. This will give the government control over our basic commodity of water. It said for the first time in a 36-year history of the activities that have no impact on actual rivers and lakes will be subject to full federal regulation. It means that the government, that if this bill becomes law, it will empower the federal government to seize private property on a whim, using similar powers that Communist China employed during Chairman Mao's Great Leap Forward, where landowners had their property violently confiscated and stolen by the government and the freaking military and stupid policemen. And Red Alert 5, amongst the myriad of assaults on the Second Amendment rights of American citizens undertaken by the Obama administration during the course of its first year in office, the one that stands out as the most alarming attempt to ban people who appear on a terrorist watch list from buying guns. They were not properly put on a criminal record. They were just simply put on a list, or their name was on a list. If they are on that terrorist watch list, they have no right to own a gun, or travel, or even leave the United States. Members of Congress, nuns, war heroes, reverends, the former Assistant Attorney General, toddlers, and children, the ACLU administrator, people with difficult names, and all-American names like Robert Johnson and Gary Smith have become caught in the vast tentacle of the list, documents the ACLU. The terrorist watch list is an ever-expanding tool which is to deny Americans basic rights, as well as to strip them completely of the Fourth Amendment. And there's also another one. Anyways, it says our right to protest against any of the egregious assaults on the Constitution are listed above. They are listed above as being removed by a new law enforcement and the Pentagon training manuals and guidelines that define protesting as basic domestic terrorism or low-level terrorism. Current Department of Defense anti-terrorism training course manual states that the exercise of First Amendment rights in the U.S. constitutes terrorism activity. Over the last few years, we have documented countless examples of security assessment reports from the likes of the Department of Defense, the Department of Homeland Security, and the FBI, as well as police training manuals, which state that anti-war protesters, gun owners, veterans, Ron Paul supporters, those who are against the New World Order, those like me who don't like our government, and those who merely cite the Constitution should be equated with extremists and domestic terrorists. This law is stupid. Very stupid. And so, have you ever heard about the Doomsday Project? The end of America. It's all blown up in pieces, 1 minute to midnight. We are 1 minute to midnight right now. The doomsday of American values and freedoms. And guess who's going to put that clock to midnight? Our government, unless we do something. We are going to be blown up into a communist regime. We're going to be nothing but a communist regime if nothing is done. If Patrick Henry doesn't do something. Anyways, there's also another bill that's clearly becoming a big problem. If you've ever been to Food Wars, Food Wars talks about the fact that the government is going to start controlling our food using, giving the FDA new powers to stop those who are independent farmers. Let's see. FDA, Farm Wars. Okay, I'm trying to look it up. Let's see. Strange bill. Okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. Strange martial law via food control. H.R. 2749. Some claims that this bill is going to force us into farm factories or farms from foreign countries, which means that if there was any type of tainted food, the American people will starve to death. And our government is going to starve American people to death. It says strange martial law via food control. I wouldn't be surprised if Barack Obama was some sort of reincarnation of Adolf Hitler, because by controlling food, it's gonna lead to starvation and famine like the third world countries, like Africa and other countries. It says, anyways, it says not what the American people ordered. It says the enslavement of their farmers. H.R. 2749 is a strange bill in many ways. While the other food safety bills have been around since winter, allowing for much public discussion on the internet, H.R. 2749 has only suddenly appeared. It is a mutant conglomeration of the worst of other bills, with the addition of one very original part, martial law. When it was a draft, it was Waxman's bill, but once given